สถานีวิทยุสรานรม AM1575 การทูตเพื่อประชาชน
เพื่อไทยก้าวไกลทันโลก
It is now 6 p.m. here on Radio Saranrom, AM1575, the radio station of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand. You're now listening to News and Views with me, Venus Asawapum. What have you been doing this past weekend? I actually know for a fact that on Sunday, many of you have participated in a nationwide event called Bike for Mom.His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mahawachiralongkorn and Her Royal Highness Princess Pacharakitiyapha led thousands of cyclists in the Bike for Mom cycling event on Sunday afternoon in honor of Queen Sirikit, who turned 83 on 12th of August this year. And wearing in the Queen's color sky blue, with the phrase Bike for Mom, cyclists paraded through the cities close to traffic in Bangkok, and many Thais also joined a similar event in other provinces. In the provinces, the Bike for Mom was led by governors along their own designated routes. But in Bangkok, the 43-kilometer cycle is the first event to be publicly led by the Crown Prince, who is currently 63. About 300,000 people registered to join the ride. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha and his cabinet also participated in the Bike for Mom event. The Prime Minister said he hoped it would unite the country. Actually, over 200,000 people turned up at the event to set a new world record for the greatest number of people cycling at once. The record was previously held by Taiwan, a little short of 100,000 people.So congratulations Thailand for showing unity and showing in celebration and in honor of Her Majesty the Queen. With other stories relating to the Mother's Day activities, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has organized a special event to celebrate Her Majesty the Queen's 83rd birthday anniversary as well last week.So on the 13th of August 2015, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs organized a special event which was attended by over 300 guests consisting of members of diplomatic corps, international organizations, foreign chambers of commerce and distinguished guests from private and public sectors. The event, it's a musical event.There are songs that were performed by the Bangkok Symphony Orchestra, which are Her Majesty's favorites, including royal compositions of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej, classical music from world-renowned composers, as well as popular tunes from the theaters. Her Majesty's composition was particularly added to the song list so that the audience could appreciate Her Majesty's talent in music. As a tribute to Their Majesty, music and cultural performances, exhibitions or CSR activities are those activities the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well as the Royal Thai Embassy and Consulates annually organize in order to celebrate Their Majesty's birthday anniversaries. The activities, especially the candle lighting ceremonies organized by the Thai embassies and consulates around the world, are greatly appreciated by the Thai community abroad and friends of Thailand alike. Not only it gives them the opportunity to celebrate the auspicious occasion, it also becomes one of the important event of the year for Thai people and friends of Thailand to gather and meet with each other and get to know each other.There are a few other activities that we did last week, including the 7th Thai Vietnamese Youth Exchange Program of 2015. We did an interview last week for on Wednesday program for the Isan dialect program. So if you would like to listen more about the program and about what the participants have to say about the program and how much they enjoy the program, you can go back to our website or on Facebook and click on the link to listen to the past program from last week to hear the interview. So the Royal Thai Embassy in Hanoi, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, in collaboration with the Department of Community Development, Ministry of Interior of Thailand, and the Ministry of Education and Training of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, organized the 7th Thai-Vietnamese Youth Exchange Program in Thailand during the past 1st to 11th August 2015. Basically, the 12 Vietnamese youths from famous university in Hanoi and 2 teachers from Hanoi University and University of Language and International Studies, Vietnam National University, Hanoi, were selected to participate in the program with 12 Thai youth partners in Thailand. The program included various types of interesting activities, not only in Bangkok but in Nakhon Phanom province as well, such as familiarization activities and community learning in the local community. There was the briefing on sufficient economy and Thai-Vietnam relations, the study visits to various historic and cultural sites in Bangkok and nearby provinces. During the program, the Thai and Vietnamese youths also had an opportunity to show their cultural performances during the closing ceremony held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand. I had a chance to interview 2 participants from Thailand and 2 from Vietnam. They were dressed in local costumes and Vietnamese traditional costume áo dài. If you would like to see what they look like, how pretty it is, the video, it's also available on YouTube. Just click search on Saranrom Radio and you could watch the interview and see the beautiful costumes that they wore for the day. Now, the program actually provides the Vietnamese students with better knowledge and understanding about the various aspects of Thailand, the way of life in the local community, and the relations between Thailand and Vietnam. Such understanding will help to connect the people as well as strengthening the friendly ties between the 2 countries. So basically, Thailand and Vietnam take turn to be the host, and next year the program will be organized in Vietnam with 12 Thai youth representatives participating in the program. Let's discuss a little bit about economy and our relationship between Thailand and Laos before we take a little break. So Thailand and Laos have recently pledged to raise bilateral trade to $8 billion over the next 3 years, driven mainly by underlying partnerships through special economic zones. Commerce Minister told in a seminar that special economic zones, or SEZs, along the border areas of the 2 countries would be instrumental not only in boosting trade over the next 3 years but also investment. Thailand plans to develop the zones in 10 provinces, 6 of which have been designated in the first place: Tak, Sa Kaeo, Trat, Mukdahan, Songkhla, and Nong Khai. The designated provinces in the second phase are Chiang Rai, Nakhon Phanom, Kanchanaburi, and Narathiwat. The government has earmarked 80 billion baht to develop infrastructure to support first phase development and 170 billion for the second phase. So of the 2 phases of the special economic zones development, 4 zones will be located in border areas with Laos. So these are Mukdahan, Nong Khai, Nakhon Phanom, and Chiang Rai. And Mukdahan's special zone in particular has already been designated to focus on processed food and beverages rubber and products, electrical appliances and electronics, and alternative energy, as well as a distribution and trading center for agricultural products and vehicles. So Laos currently has 2 special economic zones and 9 specific economic zones, including Paksei, Japan SME Specific Economic Zone in Champasak Province, which is pending development, and 9 of these are located in areas bordering Thailand. This is quite an exciting development. The other 2 zones are Golden Triangle and are next to Laos. The specific economic zones are in addition to the Paksei Japan Special Economic Zones. And last year, Thailand was Laos' biggest trade partner. So with the opening up of the new economic zones, especially along the border, we can hope to see definitely an increase in the trade between the 2 countries. Laos ranked 21st among Thailand's global trade partners and 7th in ASEAN, only after Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Myanmar. During the past few years, bilateral trade between Thailand and Laos averaged about 4 billion a year with an annual growth. And this is very exciting. The annual growth, it's averaging 35.8%. It's quite a big jump. So it's basically very plausible to expect a drastic increase in the trade between the 2 countries in the next 2-3 years after the special economic zones are opened. So when it comes to bilingual speakers, they seem to switch between these perspectives based on the language context they were given in the task. We found that Germans fluent in English were just as goal-focused as any other native speaker when tested in German in their home country. But a similar group of German-English bilinguals tested in English in the United Kingdom were just as action-focused as native English speakers. So what means is that in another group of German-English bilinguals, we kept one language in the forefront of their minds during the video matching task by making participants repeat strings of numbers out loud in either English or German. Distracting one language seems to automatically bring the influence of the other language to the fore. When we blocked English, the bilingual acted like typical Germans and saw ambiguous video as more goal-oriented. With German blocked, bilingual subjects acted like English speakers and matched ambiguous and open-ended scenes. When the researchers surprised the subjects by switching the language of the distracting numbers halfway through the experiment, the subjects' focus on goals versus process switched right along with it, which is quite interesting. I also find that I can speak a few languages such in English and in Thai. I tend to be a bit more soft-spoken, and I also noted that I beat around the bush a little bit more and sometimes incorporate the level of language that shows respect for seniority, where I might not necessarily do that when I speak in English. So this research has opened my eyes. So you may not be who you think you are, and your personality, if you're speaking more than one language, your personality might, or the way you think and the way you act might actually change depending on which language that you use, and it might be operated within the context of that culture, for example. So these findings are in line with other research showing distinct behavior in bilinguals depending on the language of operation. Israeli Arabs, for example, are more likely to associate Arab names such as Ahmed or Samir with positive words in an Arabic language context than in a Hebrew one. And people self-report that they feel like a different person when using their different languages, and that expressing certain emotions carries different emotional resonance depending on the language they're using. When judging risk, bilinguals also tend to make more rational economic decisions in a second language. So I guess that might be useful. That's a useful finding to use the second language in case you are making an economic decisions, isn't it? In contrast to one's first language, it tends to lack the deep-seated misleading affective biases that unduly influence how risk and benefits are perceived. So the language you speak in really can affect the way you think. This article, if you would like to find more, you can look it up it was originally published on a magazine called The Conversation, and you can look it up online as well. Let's start a new article today, and if we don't have enough time to finish it, we'll continue in the next program. There's a new word that's been passed around, being used around. It's called humble brag. I'm not sure if you have heard about it. And how do you spot a humble brag and prevent yourself from posting your way to fewer friends? The article is written by Alexandra K. And by saying posting, it's directly tied to the new social medias that we're using currently, such as Instagram, Facebook, and what else do people use? Twitter. I think Twitter has gained a little bit less popularity with the new generation and with also the older generations. There was recently a new research or new survey that found out that the older generation tend to use Facebook a lot, whereas the new generation prefers using platforms that allow them to post photos and videos along with their updates about their lives. So whether it is telling our friends about our accomplishments, sharing that we bought a new, whatever apparatus, or boasting about our children's talents, we've all bragged at one time or another. And the popular use of the social media have just allowed that to multiply. Before, I'm sure you've heard of people complaining about how certain people that you meet always feature out the photos of their child and talk about their child, the photo they carries around their wallet. Now it's even more prevalent with ability to carry thousands of photos in your smartphone, for example, and ability for us to access other people's lives through Facebook and through Instagram, for example. And we feel good when we share our successes or the successes of those we love. In fact, a paper published in 2012 by two Harvard neuroscientists said that talking about ourselves gives us the same kind of pleasure we get from sex or food. And yet, who wants to be known as a braggart? So here we go. Enter the word humble brag. It is a term coined by comedian and Parks and Recreation writer and producer Harris Whittles. The kind of post on Facebook or Twitter that tells the world how great your life is, then downplays it under the guise of humility or self-deprecating humor. Just spill red wine on my new book contract, for example, with, a whole bunch of hashtags. I'm sure we've all seen that before. And ironically, that attempt to minimizing big news can actually work against us, irritating others and turning their perception of us negative. But why do we do it? We brag, humble or otherwise, because we want to feel valued and important. It's just human nature. And we want others to tell us how impressed they are with our accomplishments. And when the real world doesn't come through with enough praise, some folks just take to the virtual one. But bragging is tricky businesses. In the real world, we can see how people react to a boast. But on social networking sites with no face-to-face interaction, we don't have the advantage of social cues that people give us. A disengaged look or a bored look, an eye roll to tell us to adjust our behavior. To navigate all that, we may, consciously or subconsciously, try to neutralize the potential image of themselves as egocentric, narcissistic, or both, by tempering the brag with self-deprecating comment or a disclaimer, hoping that social networking friends won't detect the brag or at least won't be offended by it. This is said by a University of Massachusetts psychology professor, and we get nervous about how we'll be perceived. Some people really depend their happiness on how many likes they get on Facebook, for example. And before you know it, you're humble bragging. But we do hate it though when other people do it. Posting on social media, it's a way to allow folks to see the parts of our lives we want to share. Or more, Facebook and Twitter arrive with people who are comfortable not only announcing their accomplishments, but sharing every last bump on the road, every last detail of their day, ever since they wake up. I don't feel like going to work today, it's Monday, what a drag, for example. And you see all the food, all the drinks they've eaten, they have drunk throughout the whole course of the day, checked into various places, for example. And these sites are modern-day confessionals. But humble bragging, it's disingenuous, said the expert Karen North, the director of a program on online communities at the University of Southern California. She said it's manufactured modesty as a guise for overt bragging, and it's this dishonesty that bothers people. The opposing nature of a humble bragging post, "I'm so talented, but I'm so modest," is aggravating because it asks readers to go into two directions at once, reaction-wise. And what's more, humble bragging can actually damage your reputation within your online community according to social media strategists. Do it too often and people will quickly figure out when you lack authenticity in your social commentary. This is getting really interesting, but our time has come to an end, so we'll continue on this topic and other news updates about the ministry's activities and international news next Monday. If you have any further inquiries, questions or comments, please write me at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, 443 Rama 6 Road, Ratchathewi, Bangkok 10400. Of course, you can also follow me and other programs on Facebook and YouTube, Saranrom Radio. Your feedback is always appreciated. Thank you for tuning in to News and Views. Have a very pleasant evening. สวัสดีค่ะ